Welcome to the MudRoom, everyone. This is our weekly free and live uncommon sense parenting class. How is everybody this evening? Is everybody adjusting to spring okay? Because after tonight, I'm not sure that I am. I haven't seen y'all in 2 weeks, right? So last week was like the most stressful week that I've had in a while. A very large part of my town and the next town over are severely flooded, and now they're saying that with the runoff from upstream, it's actually going to get worse. Like over 1,000 people have lost their homes. The main bridge that connects the two halves of my town to each other, it was threatening to collapse. So it was closed for 2 days while they tried to stabilize it and divert water away from it, which meant like everyone in town needed to take this huge detour to the next closest bridge, including my husband, which made rush hour excellent. My friend's house flooded, so I had her 4 kids here. And I had already planned to open BSPB back up, so I was doing that. And I hit Friday night and I was like, just whine. I'm exhausted. And I thought that that was over. But then this week has gotten off to kind of a banner start too. I apologize to anyone who got an email from me today about bonuses for BSPB who didn't register for BSPB. I told the computer to send that email to one set of people, and it sent it to literally everyone but those people. So I'm not really sure how that happened. I'm trying to convince the computer overlord that I am their overlord, not the other way around. But yeah, so I'm kind of at the end of my rope with technology and life, and I just need to take a deep breath and kind of bring the energy back down, right? Get back to basics. Get back on track. Okay, so first, let me introduce myself. My name is Allana Robinson, and I'm a parenting effectiveness coach for parents of toddlers and preschoolers. And I help parents understand why their children are misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or using timeouts. And I am not always this much of a hot mess. So I do want to welcome all of our new BSPB families. We have 30 new families in total, which is awesome. I am so excited. We have already hit the ground running. Parents are starting to implement, and we're starting to get some aha moments already. So I am just tickled pink. And a few of you have asked, well, it doesn't look like it's closed. What's up? Nope, we're not closing our doors anymore. You can join whenever. We just upped our prices very slightly to adjust for the fact that 2019 costs a little bit more than 2018. So I know that was confusing because we have been shutting down registration for the last year and only allowing people in waves. But I'm getting kind of sick of making people wait. So in case you've been wondering what's going on with that, that's it. Okay, let's get into tonight's topic, which is aggression. Hitting, biting, kicking, pinching, all that fun stuff that I've had a very strong urge to do myself today. Not to anyone in particular. My laptop almost took a flight today, but not towards people, luckily. So if you're watching, say hi, let me know you're here. Let me know if this is an issue that you are dealing with. I know that I have a blog post on this already, and it is going to be updated after tonight, but I don't have this information on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Or on the podcast, or in the videos tab on Facebook. So I wanted to make sure that we go over this again because we talked a lot about these strategies when the posse first started. And then our kind of core contingent, our old guard, got really familiar and competent at it. So I want to make sure that as new people come in, that everyone is up to speed. So what's going on when your child hits, bites, kicks, pinches, any of those behaviors that we would label as aggressive behaviors? So first, remember some of this information that we've already discussed in the past, like kids do well if they can, the difference between stress behavior and misbehavior. What is stress? We have content on all of those if you want to go back and look at them. So generally when a child is aggressive, it's because they're in red brain. Their limbic system is what's working right then, right? Red brain, if you'll remember, has no reason. It's emotion, intuition, sensing, feeling, no reason. It keeps us safe from danger. If you want more information on that, go back and check out the episode on the limbic leap. So when your child hits, bites, kicks, punches, it's generally, not always, but generally, because something has tripped their limbic alarm. They're protecting themselves. Now, yes, there are kids who hit and bite as a maladaptive play invitation or as an attention-seeking behavior. Totally. They all have the same undercurrents, though. When you're aggressive, everything stops, right? Everybody takes a pause. Whether that's the threat, the person that was ignoring you, or the kid that you wanted to play with. Everything stops and puts on the brakes. And it's like suddenly you have a spotlight on you. It's a great way to very rapidly alter a situation, which is a very powerful feeling. And remember, young children often feel really powerless. So if you're feeling powerless and suddenly you realize you're holding all of this power, that's going to give you a nice little peptide hit. All three of those scenarios have the same thing in common. Your child was filled with dopamine, which makes us seek and look for things, and then they got a peptide hit. I used to use the blanket term of attention seeking for this, but I don't really like that term anymore. I found better language for it. So as I said, all three of those things have two things in common. They're red brain states and they're dopamine states. As I said, dopamine makes us seek, be curious, find what we need. So when we land on a very efficient way of getting what we need, like biting, hitting, kicking, punching, pushing, we're going to replicate that, because now anytime we feel that way, we have a very quick way to get what we need, quote unquote, because it worked. So our mantra with aggression is attention to the victim, not the aggressor. And I know this is really, really hard because we want to avoid reinforcing it. If your child doesn't get that peptide hit they were looking for, and peptides make our brains feel all happy and satisfied, then we're going to do that behavior again. We're going to replicate that behavior. Now, that doesn't mean that it's just going to disappear. They're going to have an extinction burst because it has worked in the past, right? And again, we have an episode on that too. You can go back and watch all about extinction bursts later, or listen, depending on where you're consuming this from. But when you stop giving it that reward, it stops being rewarding. And by rewarding, I mean mentally. The behavior isn't rewarding mentally anymore. It makes it unfulfilling. That's a better way of putting it. So give attention to the victim. Remove the victim. Tend to their wounds. Make sure that they're safe. That is priority number one. I so often see a kid bite another kid, and then the parents stand there yelling at the kid who bit, and they're completely ignoring the child who's in pain and needs medical attention. Priorities, people. Attend to the victim first. And that deprives the behavior of that nice little peptide hit. And it's safer, right? Now, if the victim is you, get up and go take care of yourself. Go into the bathroom, tend to your wounds, have a drink of water and calm down. Again, so many parents are standing there getting pummeled under the guise of ignoring the behavior. No, you are not a punching bag. Do not stand there and act like one. Get up and leave. Now, how you proceed from there, once everyone is physically safe, is going to depend slightly on what you think the child was trying to do. So once the heat has come off the situation and you're calm, then you're going to go back to them. If you think it was a red brain reaction to a threat, like a child was either intimidating them or threatening to take their toy, or they felt backed into a corner, go back and LCP, but lead with empathy. So like if Joey ripped Susie's car out of her hands and she bit him in reaction, empathize with that, right? He grabbed your car. You didn't like that. And then continue with the LCP. You bit him, etc., etc. So if you think it was that what I had previously called attention seeking, quote unquote, they were looking to get a need met. They wanted your attention, or they were trying to open play with a child, or they were trying to insert themselves into play that they were being excluded from. You're going to go straight to the LCP. So the deviation from the standard here, though, would be that your focus is going to be, of your problem-solving question, is going to be on how the child can make amends and or cope better next time. So some examples would be, what can you do to make your friend feel better? Next time, instead of hurting your friend, how can we show them that you're angry? When you're feeling frustrated, what can you do? How can you tell your friends what they're doing is bothering you? What can you do while I'm feeding the baby? When so-and-so hits you, how does it make you feel? Right? So you get the gist. Your controlled choices would then be the two possible answers to your question, which results in the child either practicing for next time or demonstrating empathy and concern towards the person that they injured, towards their peer, because practice makes perfect. And the best offense is a good defense. In future, when you see your child attempting to use the strategies that they learned, proactively recognize and encourage them using declarative statements, right? You can use declarative statements without having to follow it up with an LCP in this instance. So for instance, you're trying to use your words to tell your brother you don't like it when he pokes you. And you're doing that instead of biting him, right? And in that instance, you'd actually go and apply a logical consequence process to the antagonizer. If you see your child getting frustrated or attention seeking, use declarative statements to remind them of their strategies before it gets out of hand. Don't wait for them to hurt somebody. Max, you're upset that I'm busy feeding your baby brother right now. What can you do while you wait? So if you see that foul wind coming, never wait for your child to act out. You can apply a logical consequence process without waiting for your child to incriminate themselves that way. This is why it is not a punishment, right? This is why it is discipline, because you are teaching them what to do. You do not have to wait for your child to misbehave in order to use an LCP. In fact, if you can use it ahead of time and teach them what to do because you can see what's coming down the pipe, it actually works so much better. So, does that help clear up aggression a bit? I know it brings it more in line with what I now know about self-regulation and neurology and child development. So if you have any questions, pop them in the description box for me, whether it's during the live or after. I always come back if I see a new comment. If you want to go more in depth on how to prevent aggression, how to give your child the skills not to default to aggression in the first place, and how to keep them calm, how to prevent them from acting purely on impulse, that's what we do in my membership. So if you'd like to check that out, you can do that. The link will be in the description box. And if you're not quite ready for that yet, and you want to dive a bit further into some actionable steps that you can take to prevent misbehavior, grab our free scripts for Managing Crazy-Making Behaviour. They are also linked in the description box. They're totally free. They're my gift to you. And they are the perfect toe dip into this whole problem-solving, declarative, natural and logical consequences world of uncommon sense parenting. Okay. Y'all are a quiet bunch tonight. Or maybe my chat's just not working. But okay. So if there's no questions, then I guess that's it for me tonight. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you next week for another Uncommon Sense parenting class. And next week's the 14th, right? Yes. Next week's the 14th. Next week, I actually have a giveaway for you guys. So make sure that you tune in, and hopefully I will get one of you to go away with some free goodies. Okay? So I'll see you next week. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for being here with me. Bye.